Moist Pineapple Pizza. What's going on, buddy? Thank you for the 10 months. It's good to see you. Happy Monday. Hope everything is going well in your world. Hope your weekend was good. And thanks for being here. So in the science tree right here, under Advanced Exploration, is a mobile processing lab right here. This mobile processing lab is the most powerful science item in the entire game. When you collect science, it has two stats. It has a science score and a data score. What this does is this stores data and it turns it into science. And depending on where you put this dictates how much science you get back out of it over time, of course. Okay? So let me show you something. We're gonna go to here. We're gonna type KSP science. In the wiki, under science, it explains everything about science. There's a really important table here that you should know about. And this is celestial body multipliers. When you have a mobile processing lab in any of these situations, you get additional science. Well, it just so happens that if you are on the surface of Minmus, which is right here, you get a 5x bonus on all of your science that goes through that mobile processing lab. What does that mean? I'll show you. If you did a surface sample and it was 100 science, the data that you load into that orbital station on Minmus will turn it into 500 science over the course of like months. If you compound that and you keep adding data to the station and you have scientists on board to process the science, you can turn 1,000 science into 5,000 science just by going around Kerbin's SOI. So we have a processing lab here. It's been here for 3.5 years. This is what got us our R&D tree finished. And right now we have 336 science on board, and we're processing 5 science per day because we have 334 data. And that's how it works. So right now we can open up our antenna, we can transmit this 336 science, and that gives us 336 science that we didn't have before. Now, granted, mine, how do you build all this? I mean, I can walk you through it real quick if you want. Mine turns into reputation because I've already got the R&D tree already filled out. But I'll show you what to do with it real quick if you want me to. But by the time you get to that point in your career, depending on what you have, like this is really early rudimentary career. But I'll show you. Let me process this science real quick. So we're gonna get processed. We got 7 reputation. Sweet. All right. Here's my rover, by the way. This is our end game rover that we're sending to all the celestial bodies, and this is the one for Moho. We just kind of, or Minmus. We got it kind of parked here. That way we can just kind of hang out and be awesome together and stuff. I'm struggling with this contract. Collect 0% of 50 of a surface deployed mystery goo observations. Is that completable? Yes. So the reason why it says that is because all the different professions in the game have levels for experience. And the beginner level scientist can only process so much out of things. Deployable science, Boney Yeti, is the little itty bitty things that you put down, the little mobile science that you do. And one of them is a goo one. And if you set it down with a level 1 scientist or a level 0 scientist, you'll get 50% of your yield from that on the surface that you're on. So it's going to be, where is it at? It's going to be this one right. Where's the goo one? There's a goo one somewhere. Whichever one has the goo, like right there. The GoOb ED monitor. That's going to be what you need there, Boney Yeti. You put that out there, you give it some time, and it'll scan everything that you need for it. But yes. Is that Dunk? Yeah, he followed earlier. He followed you in here. So I'll show you the craft that we made for this. Let's see, Minmus Flying. Minmus Science. Here we go. This was our craft. We had to keep it under 50 tons. And this is what we sent out there to begin with. And we were able to get into orbit and land on Minmus. If you're going to Minmus, you don't need legs. Ultrasaurus showing the ways of the armament to Dunk. Dunk, enjoy your ad-free viewing, your sandy emotes, and your sword. Refresh, because I run ads here. Yeah, you need a scientist to deploy it, Boney Eddie. Just like if you have an engineer deploy the power stations, you actually get more power out of them. But yeah, you just kind of ship this out, dude. Land it on Minmus, and then you're good to go. But Dave, that's the secret. You want to unlock this as soon as possible. That's your mobile processing lab. You want that ASAP. And that's going to break the entire game for you. And if you want a link to that science, here's that. Do I use any add-ons? No. I don't mod the game, Dunk. I play it for what it is, my friend. I play it for what it is. Alright. We got that joined up. You got an R on there, Mew. What do we need to do now? I gotta think. Are we ready to time warp? Let's do the time warp again. Maybe. Plant a flag on Gilly. We have... Oh, let's make windows. Let's make windows. We need a transfer window from Kerbal to Moho. 26 days, by the way. So we're going to be doing that here soon. We have Eve. We have Duna. We need Lathe. So we're going to create an alarm for Jewel. That one's 375 days out. Okay. Don't really know what to say at this point. Dave, just use that to your advantage, is what I would tell you. That was amazing. So recently we went to Eve in our save here, and I got 6,000 science. If I brought that 6,000 science back and fed it through there, it would have been 30,000 science. But I didn't need 30,000 science. So we just loaded 6,000 science into Kerbal and finished our R&D tree. But we could have made it 30,000 for whatever God knows reason you wanted to, and we would have had more science than we ever knew what to do with. You just use Astrogator. I mean, you can use those links above too. They kind of just give you pictures and stuff. Like the window planner is really, really awesome. It's a picture. The transfer window map. It allows you, check this out. The transfer window map is actually really cool. It shows you, this is Kerbal. You put Kerbal at a 3 o'clock from the sun, and then when Moho's at 6, burn to Moho. When Eve is at a 5, burn to Eve. When Duna's at a 2 o'clock, burn to Duna. When Jewel's at noon, burn to Jewel. And that kind of gives you an idea. And the way you look at that is, you go to map mode, you zoom out like this, you turn yourself, and you say, okay, Kerbal's at a 3 o'clock. What's coming up? There's really nothing coming up on our transfer window. Moho's coming up in 26 days, which is going to be down to here. And that's when we burn towards it. But that's what you do. You just look at that image, have it on another monitor or print it out or something, and just you look at that and go from there. And that tells you when to burn. So when Kerbal's here, and you can always change that. If Kerbal's over here, just turn the map. You don't have to wait for it to be in a specific spot. Just rotate your map, and you'll always have Kerbal at the 3 o'clock. Is that a probe on that solar orbit? Talking about this? This is the Elu rover going to Elu. We're performing a maneuver here in 300 days, and it's gonna put a rover on Elu. Trying to play on controller is really tough. Wish they'd add mouse and keyboard support for console. Well, I mean, that's up to the console owners, not the game. But yeah, this is going to Elu. We have enough Delta V. If it plays a Moho trick on us and screws us, then we're really screwed. But we should have enough Delta V. There's the tug, and here's the Sky Crane. Sky Crane's going to go down. Let me show you real quick. I'll aim camera. Sky Crane goes down. We decouple from there, not from here. And then we shed this on the way out into orbit. And then we have relay antennas with a rover, and the rover can drive around. Are the planet orbitals ellipses? Some of them are, not all of them. So if you zoom out and look, Elu's is, but all the rest of them are pretty round. But they are also not on a flat plane. So if you have Kerbal right here as your guide, Duna's pretty flat, E's pretty flat. You can see Moho's out having a party, and Elu's out having a party. But the rest of them are all pretty flat. The neat thing about Jule's the Jupiter analog. Jule has its own moons. And they're all on different planes too. You can see they're all over the place. What's up, Brucey? What's up? How are you? Welcome in. But yeah, this is a very beautiful... You can't land on this, though. But yeah, Jule has its own moons. Jule has 5 moons. Duna has 1 moon. This is the Mars analog. It's a big red planet with polar ice caps. But its moon is Ike, and that moon is a dick. If you try to come into Duna's SOI, that moon will throw you somewhere else. It's a very little... It's a pain in the butt. That moon is. It's much bigger than the Mun, and it's a pain. It's just a giant pain. And then Eve is the Venus analog. We've been here a lot. And this little brown moon here is Gilly. This is both the easiest and the hardest place to land. It's just a rock. And we're going to be sending some stuff out there. We got 2 Kerbals to save. We have an antenna to put out, which I have to build that. And then we have to land on there and drop a rover off. Looks like a space turd. You look like a space turd. If you want to talk about space turds, there's a moon around Jule. It's called Pole because it looks like a piece of pollen. Check this out. Where's Pole? Pole is right here. Look at that. If you zoom in here, if you land here and move around, there's like weird looking plants and things, and it looks really weird. But it looks like a piece of pollen. Ike and Duna are tidally locked. Yep. I wonder what happens if you try to land on Jule. You blow up and die. But yeah, we've been here a few times. Don't know how I missed this one. You mean Space Engineers? You know, I've got 500 hours in Space Engineers. I have one gripe with it, Fingers. And I know that there's a mod to fix it, but I have one gripe. A player can move faster than any ship you can build, and I hate that. 100 meters a second maximum speed, my foot. The speed. Yep, Dunk, 100% the speed. Put it on Minmus, Dave, not Mun. Minmus is much more forgiving. Yeah, Xanath, that's because Kerbal is buggy. No, Ultrasaurus. Pluto and Sharon are in... We talked about this the other day. They're not so much tidally locked that they affect each other's rotation. Our moon is tidally locked to Earth. Yeah, you always forget the word. Dave, go for it, dude. Enjoy your lurk. All right, we got to build an antenna for Gilly. I think it's the same antennas we already have. We just got to ship it out. Let me drink some water. Notorious Wig. Have you ever played City Skylines? I'll answer your question with a question of my own. You have not. Okay. So they're both sandbox games. When you're a kid playing in the sandbox, it's whatever you want to make of it. Whatever your end game is whatever the end game is that you want to do. What this game does is it has game modes that give you missions to kind of give you a reason to build stuff, but you can do whatever you want. But yeah, it's just a giant sandbox. We have antennas or satellites. Where do I have those at? Sky Crane, Mun. 2-stage, Minmus, Rover, Mun. That's all early stuff. Where is my antennas? Relays. Relay stack, right here. 3.0 relay stack. Yes, please. This is the ion ones. Look, it's our ion antennas. We only need one, though, right? It needs to have a Science Junior and maintain stability. Okay, sweet. We can take this one off. Oops. I want to reroute to here. Take this one off. We'll rebuild this. All right. One more question regarding auto strut. How and where? You go into your settings and you turn on advanced tweakables. Recommendations for flying long range and atmosphere for surveys. Don't do those. They suck. That's my advice on that one. Yeah, Kamikaze Dave, go into your here. I'll show you real quick. Now let me put this on the pad, and then I'll show you. Yeah, Doug, just don't do them. The real answer is to build an airplane, and good luck. But don't ever do those. They suck. They encourage you to build airplanes, and you don't need to do it. If you go into settings, Dave, there's a button here that says Advanced Tweakables. That gets you the auto strut. But you don't get auto struts until you actually unlock struts in the R&D tree. So if you don't have struts unlocked yet, you can't turn this on. Or you can't turn it on. You like airplanes? Then make airplanes. Then make airplanes and do your orbital surveys or whatever your surveys are. All right. Let's get this out into orbit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We out. And this was much lighter than 50 tons. We were like 44 and change. Got one last stage there. Got one stage there. And that should be enough antenna to go to Gilly. That'll be our other Gilly antenna. Yeah, Dunk, I hate airplanes. I don't make them. I did make an infinite electricity helicopter that flew around Eve. We flew it halfway around the planet. It took 18 hours. We split it into like 5 streams. It was great. Do I ever play any MMOs? I used to, hip-hop. I don't have time anymore. If I dedicated my time to an MMO, I'd either have to stream it and lose everybody I have right now, or dedicate time to it offline and stream less. Do those missions, if you like them, but they're probably the worst to do. Yeah, they're horrible, Sniper. Wish you can go faster than X4 and Atmo, and also the SAS would keep it level as you moved around the curvature. What do you mean, Monty? Oh, you mean for a helicopter? I think 4X is fine. You have to think consoles can't handle it. Be thankful you could do it on a PC. But I had an infinite electricity helicopter that went around Eve. It was actually really nice. If you guys want to, I know some of you guys are new, I'll show you the helicopter, but only if enough of you guys want to see it. How does infinite electric charge work? You got to use nukes. Nukes are the name of the game. I'm burning wrong. So what you do is you want to generate more electricity than you're using, and you want to be able to maintain it. And I think the helicopter would go 50 meters a second, which isn't, with the infinite electricity is 50 meters a second. We can push it like almost 100, but then you're at a net loss for electricity. Now you're curious. If we get enough people who want to see it, I'll show it to you guys. But I spend a lot of time on it, and I'm very proud of the end result. We actually made 2 versions. One was 14 tons, and then I actually made a much lighter version that ended up being right at 8 tons, I think. You would like to see it? Anyone else want to see it? And it looks like at a space chopper. You'll look at a space chopper? Okay. We can do that. Let me get this thing in orbit. You're interested? All right. Fire it up. All right. I got to go into the sandbox. I got to pull it out from the other computer, too. So I used to stream and game on one PC, but now I do it on two. And all the old Kerbal stuff is on the other PC. So I just got to move it over. I'll take a few minutes and show you guys. I don't mind. You use the stock rotors? I don't use any mods, if that's what you're asking me. I use 0 mods. And we actually ballistically entered it into Eve and flew it around. We flew it halfway around the planet. I chose surveys, can't do science, but can build aircraft. So do aerial surveys or learn what scientists can do on Minmus? Bonietti, sure. I give it to my bot. So I type things to my bot in Discord and then just download it from there. That's the easiest way. I know how to do it. From the breaking ground. Yeah, Xanath, of course. Of course. All right, let me go get the file real quick. 1 second. I gotta go here. Wait. Here we go. SSD. Steam apps, common, Kerbal Space. Saves. And this is our hard mode save, by the way. So there was no F5s, F9s, or anything like that. It was live. Space plane hangar, and it was the Eve helicopter. We have a couple. Let me just move a couple over and we'll look at all of them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Helicopter redesign. That might actually be the one. That's what it is, the redesign. Never mind, I found the right one. All right, I'm gonna pop over here real quick so you guys don't. You know? Look at my awesome stinger transition. I made that today too. You're gonna get sick of looking at it, but I like it. And then I'm gonna download this. We're gonna open up my folder. We're gonna go to the space plane hangar and move it over. Oops, into there. Sweet. Close Discord. All right, back over. All right, let me go. Oh, I put it in the wrong save. Hold on, I can move that. Helicopter redesign, default ships, space plane hangar, paste. All right. Space Center. Let me load an instance to do a quick save or to do a persistent save here, and then we'll move around. So I'm not going to show you the original helicopter. I'll show you the newest one. It was meant to be able to. It could rescue Kerbals. It could hold Kerbals, and it could carry payload up to 4 tons. I think it was 4 tons. It was pretty awesome. Mew, I'm already used to it, buddy. I like it. I like it. All right, we're going to resume save. Go to my sandbox. We're going to cheat it onto Eve because I don't feel like going through all the headache anymore. And what's funny is I actually have a file saved because we practiced it on Eve a lot, and I came up with a place to cheat it to that always landed on its feet, which is pretty cool. Mission controls closed. Space plane hangar. A helicopter to orbit? No. A helicopter on the ground, and then we're going to fly it around. Not orbit. So this is the helicopter right here. It looks a little dumb, but I assure you it works beautifully. Now, not only is it a helicopter, but it's also an airship. And this is the design. Center of mass. Right underneath the props. Right in the middle of the craft. It has a grabber arm. It can grab payloads up to 4 tons. And the way we practiced it was we would put it out on the runway of Kerbal. I would fly it to the top of the VAB. Or I would fly it to the... So I would put a pod at... Here, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. We'll We'll fly it here first. So I'll launch it out to the runway. Because I can show you here. It works here. It just works better on Eve because Eve has a thicker atmosphere. What's up, Just Dan? Welcome in. You do. Real quick, I'm going to run an ad while we get everything set up. Give me like a minute or two. I'm going to go to the Space Center. We're going to put a pod out on the landing pad, and then we'll do the test. We'll run the test on this. Crazy design. Wait till you see how it works. You'll be like, oh my god, this is great. Because it has a lot of cool little modes on it. We'll go to the VAB. We're going to put a pad or a pod out there. So we're going to do like maybe... I'll throw this pod out there. I'll even put Kerbals in it. Why not? Sure. Launch. Okay, so that's going to sit out onto the thing. Would it work on Duna? It would need to be redesigned for Duna. The atmosphere is too thin. My goal wasn't to put a helicopter on Duna. The atmosphere is a lot thicker on Eve, so it requires a lot less thrust, a lot less power to get the helicopter moving. But we tested everything on Kerbal. If it worked on Kerbal, it was going to work on Eve, no problem. All right, I'll wait for the ads to finish, and then we'll get this thing started. In fact, I gotta look at all the action groups. We have action groups for this. That's that. Grabbing unit, we don't need that. Okay, so it's just one. I think it was 6 and 7, right? No, just one. All right, that unlocked everything. Yeah, Monty, you can make a helicopter for it, but this isn't the helicopter for it. Okay, so what we need to do is we have a couple of cow controllers. This is for the side blade angle. I think that's actually controlled by the throttle. So we're going to have top rotor RPM, top blade angle, and then side rotor RPM. Here we go. Yeah, exactly, Xanath. So it's a lot more feasible. Okay, so this is the helicopter. And here's a couple of things you need to know about it. A, you want to control from here, which is the probe core on the ship. You also then want to go radial out surface. The reason being is it allows it to hover, okay? We're going to check up on our blade angle just for eyeballing purposes.